Hello guys, welcome back. So this is day 5 and today's date is 31st of March. Yeah, again I'm back with my whole day to create a virtual log vlog. I'm just excited about this part of my day and this is also I'm not getting time to prepare for this day, for this period. But still I'm going to do it very much more efficient each and every day. So that's what I'm targeting, and that's what my main focus to fall into this loop and uh, follow this thing. So for mm, uh, talk- today's we have just discussed in my college. I discussed about some evaluation metrics. Just let me tell you evaluation metric for the specific machine learning models and various algorithms. And let me tell you the specification or like why the evaluation matrix is important. Like from the part of daily life, you can just relate it the how much a result of a certain task or action is important. Certain force you apply the result of that, how much that is important, you can relate that. But in machine learning, how it is important. Think all of work you have done, like you have just done the data collection, pre-processing, model selection, model specification, and model deployment. The result outcome of that, it just tells about the everything whatever you've done over there. If the evaluation matrix doesn't fall into a good category or the perfect category, like the not getting the appropriate optimized output, then maybe your whole thing you have to redo everything whatever you have done in the your previous whole completely all your work you have to do it once again. That's what evaluation matrix. And I also seen in the EDA is it's consisting around 10 marks out of 30 in an hackathon. You can understand the level of importance it is uh, weighted with itself. That's evaluation matrix on what we have done over there. The mainly topic we have just discussed over there is precision recall F1 score, and there are around 7 uh, evaluation metrics we are having, or we can say 9. The first one is mean absolute error. That's not matrix, we can say it as a matrix, but that's a componently a number, like for just finding out the absolute error. Absolute, that means positive error minus the mean of it. Like what you are doing over in mean absolute error, you are having y and y predicted value, y actual and y predicted. You are just subtracting the actual from the predicted values and taking absolute of it and taking out the mean of it. You are just subtracting the subtracted values from the mean values. So that's what, and just taking out the mean of that also. That's what of our mean absolute error, MAE. And then we are having root squared error, root mean squared error. Here we are just putting it the under root of the our mean absolute error. Okay, I can just clarify that differentiate between these two. In mean absolute error, we are not getting the value under the coverage of our data set we are having. Like we can say we are having y values from 1 to 10, and y predict values are also same. Then mean absolute error will be just maybe you may not greater than 10. It just depend on our predicted data. Okay, if it's greater than 10, we are not able to that much relate to our real data set. But in root mean squared error, what we are having, we are just underrooting it. We are just dividing it more. So it is more relatable, more under the coverage of our, under the range of our data set which we are having. Okay, third one is on next of still remaining to I have to do them. I have to done them. It was the okay. I'm just going with the next list of it. And normalized mean absolute error, normalized root mean square error, precision and recall, which we have discussed. And the formula for the precision is the true positive divided by true positive plus true negative. Okay, the total positive is just with our actual output. And recall is, maybe I'm wrong over here, both. I'm not don't remember the terms like what is TP plus TN actually means in terms of our data, like it's actual or restricted. And the recall we are having true positive divided by true positive plus false negative. Okay, so that's we have discussed five of out of nine, and the sixth one is F1 score. This is also known as a harmonic mean of precision and recall. And the seven one is like it's a long area under the receiver characteristic curve, and the eighth one is ranking method. Okay, so this is what you can do on the our evaluation matrix. This is the first thing, and the second thing we are going to talk about. Okay, I recently watched a video of Apna College. They have just launched the Alpha 4.0. They are mostly focused on the guys, on the engineers who wants to just crack the. There is no doubt there can. Okay, I'm not going to say this. The 4 months which I have mentioned the topic, just they are just talking about the consistency of a guy who can just spend and the efforts. They are asking about 2 hours, but an engineer can spend around 3 to 4 hours in from whole day. Okay, and this is also I'm thinking I'm going to discuss my whole schedule of average schedule of my regular days. And that's a very good thing. I'm just managing my time very efficiently, and I'm just having around much of the time. Okay, if you just want to see my productivity or the time I spend my on my editor, the time I spent my the time I used to spend on my languages of working, you can just go and visit my GitHub and Vakka profile also. Like Vakka time is in software we just integrate as an extension with your editor and just calculate your time. Just calculate the time we spent on that thing. Calculate the time in various you can say attributes, like it calculates the time in terms of projects, name of the title of the projects, languages, and so on. I have not explored it very much. The next thing is we are going to talk about NLTK and Spacy. Okay, this both terms into both libraries somewhat are related, and both comes under the NLP. Whenever we talks about the text analyzing and the text processing, pre-processing also, that's the main thing is pre-processing only. Whenever we talks about the pre-processing of the text and analyzing it, we are just mostly referring to the NLTK. But more referably, you should refer to the Spacy because it is just more integrated, more developed tool presented, and it just is recently released. Recently, maybe I don't know when it was released, but I can say that it's a new tool, and the new tools are having more easy functionality to use. The difference main difference between NLTK and Spacy is that NLTK is more on string based. It's just taking string for just processing to it. But what in Spacy we are doing, we are just creating the object. Spacy is more object oriented. We are creating more object over strings using the NLP only, and we are using that. We are utilizing that for our pre-processing, and that's one. And the main thing it's newly launched is that NLTK is we can say like NLTK is much more we have to be configured, like it's much more user based. It's much more user based, like you have to install, you have to just do everything manually. But in especially there is some certain rules they specified on that only. The most the general things can be done with Spacy only. If you want to do the specific things, or you want to just have some specific task to be completed, you just have to go with NLTK. If you are having some general things just like tokenization, words and sentence, you can go with the Spacy. Okay, these are the third point. And the fourth one is just coming as Streamlit app. Okay, this is a very cool app which I found over the internet. The Streamlit app. Okay, and this is nothing GUI library for the Python, mostly developed for the machine learning apps to be deployed over the internet. Okay, you have just to write the your application, your model, and you have just to save it, and you have just to upload it into that Streamlit application file. Sorry, and it's just going to run over it, just providing you and your user to an interface for just interacting with your machine learning model. It's just making very easier for using a machine learning model to a third person also, that you can upload it over there on cloud only. Okay, that's fourth. And the fifth one is, okay, I don't know, learn to write the structured code. Okay. This is more related to the our 4 point Streamlit app. I was just implementing one of my model over here, and as I'm not completely aware of the complete documentation of Streamlit, I'm just finding difficulty to implement the code in the stepwise formation. I'm just facing some errors, not errors, some extra code in my output which should not be there. The main thing which I'm discussing this structure is just there is something some patterns to write some general code also. If you just review the code of other persons, there is much more clarity and much more efficient way to write those things. And that's what I want to learn also. And for that I also attempted to a course of around of 10 sessions, very highly valued course over there that I am talking about. Okay, that's all for the day. Thank you. And maybe the tomorrow I'm not able to have that whole day as in some points to be discussed. But still, I'm just trying to. What I decided to do for tomorrow, I'm just trying to go with the Spacy for sentiment analysis. I'm going to do the DSA course from the Alpha College only, and I'm also going to prepare for that. And I'm also going to do the codes like to how to write a structured code and code base. The fourth thing is just enjoyment, watching movies, the Rocket Boys, and some other things also, watching movies also, and traveling also. Thank you. Thank you.